3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? There was something that popped up, and it came out of the collective from last week, and I'm not talking about a COVID-19 spread. I'm actually talking about something that happened on the show. But there was a tweet. The account was at AAW Danny Daniels, and it was in response to a Danhausen and Marco Stunt dancing to the song Tequila during a match. And he said, "Has wrestling passed me by? I feel that way at times. Maybe wrestling should be listed in genres now. This should be listed as comedy wrestling, where everything is a parody of itself. I personally like dramas, but that's just me. Who knows anymore? I just know that this is stupid." Now, so that kind of like begs the question. Like, I don't think that wrestling should be broken up into genres, because the idea that comedy wrestling or things that are way out of the realm of believability, etc., this notion that this is a new thing is not anywhere close to being true. I mean, we have had comedy wrestling for years. We've had, jokey gimmick wrestling for years. This is nothing new. I mean, are you seeing things on a broader schedule because of social media and that? Absolutely. Do I necessarily like love that spot? I don't know. I mean, I think it's also different if you're at the show, maybe, like if because I think there was a Legacy show where there was a dance break in the match. Wasn't it like Amasis versus Neon Ninja, I want to say, for Sod? They had the dance break in the middle of the match. Like, that wasn't stupid. I thought it was pretty cool, pretty fun. Like, stop. Like, my thing has always kind of been stop taking wrestling too seriously, and not that wrestling's a joke, because it's not. Like, it's a serious form of entertainment. There's a serious risk to the performers, but in the same time, like, it's live action theater combined with sport. So there can be comedy, there can be drama, there can be love angles, there can be all sorts of everything within the pro wrestling realm. Like, you may not like a certain segment, like I might not like a certain aspect to the movie Grease, or any movie, any TV show, but like the fact that somebody's trying to say that like this doesn't belong in wrestling does not register with me.
I'm very
on the weekend
of what that part of the movie Grease bothered Jim, but go ahead.
No. That's actually much more important. I want to hear that.
I hope it wasn't the scene in the gym.
It was the whole carnival at the end. I hate carnivals. Carnivals are stupid. It didn't belong in a movie.
Mark, are you okay hearing that?
Well, as long as it wasn't the scene in the gym.
I'm just kidding. I love carnivals. I don't know why Grease was the first movie that came into my head, but here we are.
On a weekend.
I have a framed Grease album up here.
Oh, wow. There it is.
Subliminal message this whole time.
I didn't. Yep, there it was. I've been staring at it for 2 hours.
Grease is the word, man.
Grease is the word. I had Bowser sign that because he was in Grease for about 3 seconds.
You learn something new every day.
Didn't Sha Na Na have a song on there?
Yeah, they had a few songs on here. And they did the hand jive in the gym.
Oh, naturally.
So they still get royalties.
The kids hand jive a little differently today.
Speaking of the hand jive, comedy wrestling.
Yeah, Ryan, you were going to comment on this, I believe.
I was going to comment on this. What was this guy's name again? Adam something?
I forget. Danny Daniels.
Danny, I was close. Danny.
It was at AAW Danny Daniels.
Okay. Well, that explains a lot to me. On a weekend that like they had a huge inclusive gay show, big Effie's Big Gay Brunch or something. I forget exactly what it was called. And like inclusion was spoken of at the collective. We have this guy who is pushing back on comedy wrestling, which is nothing new. I
Right.
commentated a show that had Rich Swann on it that stopped and we all danced to All Night Long by Lionel Richie. It was a fantastic moment because that's what professional wrestling is supposed to be. Moments that you go home and say, wow, that was fun. Moments that you watch on YouTube and say, that would be fun for me to go there and experience this live the next time. I am fine watching a Zack Sabre Jr. technical wrestling match. I enjoy that just as much as I enjoy anything else. The collective is that exactly what it is, a collection of wrestling. We saw death matches. We saw the Janela Spring Bake that has a clusterfuck match. We saw the inclusion in Effie's show. It's pro wrestling. Just chill the fuck out.
Right. Anybody else?
Me,
Go ahead.
as the guy who is I mean, it's a dirty word now, but I was the biggest Chikara promoter for like the longest time. Like, the old adage that gets thrown around is, quote, funny don't make money. But if you go around, like, even in the last 5 years, like, Colt Cabana is still like super featured all the time.
Sure.
And like, to a certain degree, the New Day is a comedy act.
Sure.
And like, I get where it may not be your cup of tea, but like, people need to stop focusing on what they hate and stop shitting on what people love because you hate it. Like, how about you just boost up what you love and like let everything else just slide, man?
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
How about it? Like,
And I mean, it is okay to like not like something. I mean that
Danny
inherently is fine. I mean the 24/7 title is I mean that is a comedy situation. You know, it's okay to not like it. It's a whole different thing when you're saying like this is stupid, like basically saying like this doesn't like belong in pro wrestling, or this should be labeled as something different than pro wrestling, or that wrestling has to be broken up into categories. That's where I really kind of am like, no, that does, because I was like, yeah, because we all remember that great dramatic wrestler from the 90s, TL Hopper. And dare we forget the drama of the garbage man, Duke the Dumpster Droese. Like, thank God for those dramatic characters in the World Wrestling Federation in the 90s. Like, I don't know if I would have survived the 90s if it wasn't for those dramatic characters.
And
For me, I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I've spoken. Your turn.
I mean, I was just going to say wrestling is constantly evolving. If you look at the wall behind me, we go from Jake to DX to Sasha. Like, there is a lot of different styles of wrestling just in those, handful of people. And they all have different things that people like Mark and I are very big Sasha fans. I know that you guys have kind of soured on her over the years, and that's fine. It kind of is what it is. So when we look at wrestling, and I think we've kind of always said this, is just there's no kind of set like standard for wrestling. Like, this is what's good this is what's bad. Whereas in other sports, we can kind of justify, like, hey, this is a bad football team. This is a bad basketball team. You can't really say this is a bad wrestler if people enjoy what they're doing in the ring. So just like, has wrestling passed you by? Probably. But wrestling is going to pass everyone by in some form at some point. Death match wrestling. I really enjoy it. It's not for everyone, and I understand that. So I wouldn't invite certain people to a death match wrestling event, even if I know they enjoy professional wrestling. And that has to be said for comedy wrestling, for women's wrestling, unfortunately, for intergender wrestling. It's all, unfortunately, not going to be someone's cup of tea. And that is what it is. But like, if you know you're not going to like certain parts of it, don't fucking watch it. It's that simple.
Wait, do I still have that? No, I don't think I do. I was gonna say I used to have the if you don't like it, don't watch it sound.
Matt, I love that you said evolved, like wrestling is evolved. If you remember what 10, 15 years ago, football has evolved. I mean, everything evolves. 10, 15 years ago, your first draft pick would be running backs. Like, it had to be, because it was a run first league and your points were being scored there. There were teams that had 3 starting running backs cycling. Like, the game has changed. Wrestling has changed. It evolves. It absolutely does.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's what, an AEW fan. I just checked YouTube. AEW has like 1.7 million followers. So that's a really solid number for a nationally televised television show on TNT. Grimm's Toy Show, which is a backyard wrestling comedy show, has 1.27 million viewers. So
really,
just about 5 million viewers away from AEW is Grimm's Toy Show, which is straight comedy.
And that's a very good point, Ryan. Like, all sports are going to evolve too, which is kind of the sports entertainment aspect of it. I know Tim's a bigger basketball fan than the rest of you guys, but I mean, from when we were growing up to now, I mean, you had the big men, tough defense, and now basketball is just all shooting. So
analytics, yeah. Like, it's
baseball as well. Like, you watch the movie Moneyball and you see people do more in terms of just, it's not about home runs anymore. Yeah. It's about small ball. So every sport has to evolve, and wrestling as a sports entertainment industry has to evolve too, or they're going to get left behind.
I mean, in our lifetime, we've seen the WWE go from, what it was in the early 90s to the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression to what it is now. Like, I mean, the WWE has changed numerous times in front of us. But yeah, I saw that, and it was just like the idea that wrestling has to separate itself into comedy and other things. Like, no, like it's all wrestling. Like, you may not like it, that's fine, but like don't disrespect the people who are competing and whatever by saying, like, basically you don't belong to be in the same conversation as professional wrestling, because that's where I draw the line.
There can't be a set standard in anything that you do, and that goes, like, there's even still baseball, football, basketball purists that don't like the game how it is now, and that's fine. But if you want to continue to enjoy the sport, then you have to understand the sport has to grow and change.
There's still people to this day who want the 3-point line in basketball done with.
What? Really?
Yes.
And heaven forbid when the 4-point line actually does become a thing that's not just like the fun all-star weekend thing. Right. I mean, people are going to hate that too.
Right. It's like, it's just crazy. But like, before we go to the next thing, I watched recently Halftime Heat for Final Wrestling Place. Mm-hmm. And when Vince McMahon was explaining what the heck WWE was, he used 3 things in quick succession that make no sense, but make all the sense. It's like, if you're watching this, you may be asking yourself, what the heck am I watching? It's action adventure, soap opera, Roadrunner. That's what Vince McMahon said about the WWE. Action adventure, soap opera, Roadrunner.
That
If
makes
that's
sense.
not comedy in there, then like what is?
Yeah,
Right.
that makes total sense. That makes 100% sense. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?